are hurting pretty bad because we've had this huge jump in fertilizer prices because of this conflict. And, with only about 30% of fertilizer coming through the Strait of Hormuz, that's, if you divide that out per day, that's about 0.09% of the world's fertilizer coming through there. And even if the U.S. only uses 30% of that, which I think is probably a really high number, that's 0.03% and per day. So we've only been in conflict for nearly 12 days here, and our fertilizer costs have jumped nearly 77%.
You know what's even crazier, Farmer Lance, is that you farmers come on television and you want the American people to feel sorry for you, but all the while on March 3rd, you just posted this picture of the pedo-in-chief, your Lord and Satan or billionaire dump. But don't worry, Farmer Lance, it's on their agenda to come in there and swoop up your farm for pennies on the dollar when you go bankrupt. And I'm sure you'll keep supporting these son of a bitches. But just to let you know, Farmer Lance, it is pronounced the Strait of Hormuz, and that just goes to prove that they love the ignorance. I mean, you're a prime example on primetime TV. My advice to you there, Farmer Lance, is to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and maybe learn a different trade and some new skills, because it's just going to get worse with this fucking war that y'all support. And the rest of y'all have a good day now, okay?
If you're a farmer getting ready for spring planting, what's happening halfway around the world right now might hit your operation this week. Over the weekend, tensions between the United States, Israel, and Iran escalated with military strikes and retaliations. And while that may sound like foreign policy, it's already hitting U.S. agriculture too. Diesel futures jumped to 2-year highs. At the same time, fertilizer markets started moving fast. Urea and other nitrogen products have jumped roughly $50 to $80 per ton in just a few days. The reason for this is that a huge portion of global fertilizer moves through the Strait of Hormuz, which is a narrow shipping route right next to Iran that handles roughly about a third of the world's fertilizer trade. Countries like Qatar and Saudi Arabia ship huge amounts of fertilizer through that route. So if shipping gets disrupted there, global supplies tighten pretty quickly. And honestly, the timing really couldn't be worse. U.S. farmers are about to start spring planting when demand for fuel and fertilizer is already at its peak. So of course that means higher input costs, tighter margins, and some producers may even potentially cut back on application rates just to make the numbers work. The bottom line here is that when global conflict tightens energy and fertilizer supplies, U.S. farmers feel it fast. And arguably this spring, the cost of planting could depend just as much on geopolitics as it does the weather. Thank you for watching.
Fertilizer tariffs are not abstract policy. They're hitting farmers directly. For corn growers, for example, fertilizer costs account for 30 to about 50% of the total cost of production. Now tariffs are tightening global supply, especially for nitrogen, potash, and phosphate. Fewer suppliers means higher prices overall, and farmers don't get to pass these costs on. This is how policy turns into pressure, right at the farm gate.
A lot of farmers voted for Trump. My dad is one of them. My dad farms. He's been a farmer his entire life, and so are many people in my tiny hick town of El Campo, Texas. I just heard on the news right now while I'm getting dressed, I always watch a little news. Not only is gas going to continue to go up, fuel, diesel, how do you think tractors and trucks and everything run? Fertilizer, though. Fertilizer also has to go through that canal that, it's too early. Anyway, so fuel is going to continue to go up, and so will fertilizer. So FYI, farmers that voted for Trump, more fun stuff is coming for you.
Michigan farmers are being faced with growing supply chain challenges caused by the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. According to the National Fertilizer Institute, a significant portion of products needed to make fertilizer travel through the Strait of Hormuz between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Half of the world's urea, an essential component of fertilizer, travels through the strait and has seen a 30% price increase since the war began. The institute says that the increased costs could eventually lead to higher prices around the board. The strains will likely get worse the longer that trade is disrupted by the conflict. I'm Sheldon Krause in Traverse City. Check out 910news.com for more.
On this edition of FAFO. So it appears as though the conflict that's going on in the Middle East is affecting a lot of the farmers here in the United States. And let's just say that farmers last year were really screwed over by Donald's policies, and it looks like they're going to get even more screwed.
There's been some predictions that fertilizer will go up another $100 a ton on top of losing money as it is. So it's really sad that the farming has got to the point where we're losing money to even be doing it. And then with things going on like it is, there's so much uncertainty.
We're used to dealing with markets going up and down, but when we see such a large increase in such a short span of time is what really makes it harder to deal with.
We have a lot on the line from day to day, and at nighttime, sometimes it can be hard to sleep.
A lot of guys have just said, I'm done. We're going to quit. They're hanging it up. There's sales everywhere. Lots and lots of farm sales. Financially, it's causing a lot of mental health problems as well. We got to do something about it. It's just plain got to stop.
And here's a fun fact. During the 2024 election season, 444 farming-dependent counties voted at about 78% of support for Donald, meaning that a majority of them voted in favor of all of this stuff happening. From such things as tariffs, the pulling of USAID, which a lot of these soybean farmers relied on, increased prices on farming equipment, and now the war that's going on with Iran. And here's another fun fact. During 2025, there was reportedly about 15,000 farming bankruptcies, and a reporting loss of farming revenue estimated between $35 to $45 billion, meaning that a lot of farmers last year were really screwed, even though they voted for it. Add on the immigration raids in which a lot of these farmers relied on the labor of immigrants, and you can pretty much picture how many of these farmers entered the find out phase of their vote.
Wisconsin farmers are feeling sticker shock as fertilizer and gas prices soared due to the war in Iran. 1/3 of the world's fertilizer supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and with it being closed, some prices have jumped by nearly 25% since the end of February. According to AAA, the cost of diesel rose 55 cents per gallon in the last week. This will impact things like shipping, delivery, and of course, grocery store prices.
Hey, I told Marissa that I was not gonna work that much. We're headed to baseball, but I gotta let you guys know, you've probably heard fertilizer prices are... So for the time being, I still can get your fertilizer for what I've been quoting. But if you need it, we need to get it coming. We need to get it ordered because it's not gonna last very long. Primarily nitrogen, but all fertilizers going up. Nitrogen is just like going to be way, way, way high. If you want to go the liquid route, we can do that. We have those nitros and bios that I was selling last year. Super great product. And then, yeah, anything fertilizer related, if you're going to need it, let's get it ordered. So, give me a holler. Thanks.
I got another FAFO for farmers. I have another FAFO for farmers. Oh, step to the front. This one's a doozy. All right, if you didn't know, farmers voted for Donald Trump not once, not twice, but 3 times. And they are the ones to originally get screwed in the very beginning by Trump screwing up soybean. Now he's messing with fertilizer and the cost of gas. Wait a minute, Christina. How does the Iran war affect fertilizer and farmers? Well, due to the Iran war, we struck Iran and the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And if you didn't know, farmers get 25% of their fertilizer out of the Strait of Hormuz. You heard me correctly. So this will lead to a supply and demand problem and likely an increase in oil. And just like the rest of us, they're feeling it at the pumps. So guess what? They voted for him not once, not twice, but 3 times. And for the last 13 months, many of them said, you know what, Mr. Trump, we love you. We trust you. So this is just another FAFO for farmers who are still struggling and still begging over the last 13 months for help over the trade that was ruined with China and other countries. FAFO farmers, FAFO.
Farmers, how are you doing? I'm talking to farmers who are heavily reliant on fertilizers. I want to know what is the cost of fertilizers now, especially with the recent Middle East conflict and the oil shock, oil crisis. I need to know if you're having problems with not just with the stock of fertilizer, but with the price of the fertilizer. So, with this recent Middle East conflicts, I'm afraid it will raise food production costs by 15 to 30%. That's gonna be painful for all of you. Another thing is, even before the Middle East proxy wars, the imports of fertilizer has roughly increased 15% into 2025. So what more today? So I just checked that farmers in sub-Saharan Africa, you guys import roughly 80% of fertilizer. So you are highly dependent on fertilizer, but you're also exposed to global price volatility and supply chain disruption. So with these higher oil prices, it means higher shipping and freight costs. So it's just a concern to all of us. And I want to know how will this affect you, or how is this affecting you now? I need to know what crops are you doing? Are you totally reliant on fertilizers? Do you have any backup plans on this? So please mention on the comment below what type of farmer are you and what fertilizer do you use? What country are you from? And we're gonna handle this one farmer at a time, because I believe this oil crisis, even if the Middle East war is finished, subsided, this oil crisis will continue for months, not in weeks. So we have to prepare, we have to be ready, and we have to shield it from our businesses and farms. So talk to me, guys, about this, those who are heavily reliant on fertilizer, and we'll solve this one problem at a time.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.